Hi everybody, it's Claire back with another art journal video. So this is a video of the last few pages that I created in the Dina Wakley watercolour journal, the new one that's just come out. You can see there's already some leftover paint on the pages, and so there were 3 pages left. I decided to create a waterfall sort of style, so I've just torn those pages out and then I'm just completing some of those rainbow colours onto my other pages. This is a really nice wide brush. I don't know what brand it is, but I got it from Natalie May Scrapbooking. Oh, I do know what brand it is. It's Montmartre. Um, yeah, and it is, let me tell you how many inches wide it is. It is 3 inches. It's fabulous for this technique. It's really good. So I've added those colours onto my pages. I've grabbed some offcuts of craft cardstock and I'm just going to stamp some of these bears, these are Dina Wakley bears, onto the craft cardstock using black archival ink. I am not the best at stamping, so I'm quite pleased when the stamping comes out well because often it doesn't. I'm going to stamp out more things than I actually need and I'll just put aside what I don't use. Yeah, so once these stamped out, I'm going to cut them out. I'm not going to show you that bit. You don't need to watch me cutting things out. That's a bit boring. But I'm just stamping some images on because I want to layer these images onto the waterfall pages. So now I'm using one of the coaster stencils with Orchid. I'm just bringing a bit of stenciling. And what I'm going to try and do here is make sure that the stenciling flows across all of the pages so that they work together and work separately. So I'm just trying to match up the stencil here because I want to extend that stenciling across my page where it went from the other page. I'm kind of making sure that the pages work in the centre as well, where you open them up so that there's not so there's nothing going on. That's like a double negative, so I don't know what that means. I want there to be something happening when you turn the pages, is what I should have said. Okay. So that's Orchid that's gone down first. And I just thought I'd extend that to the top. I wanted to anchor it to the top of my page and pull that other bit on the left across down to the bottom. So another coaster stencil, mixing up the patterns. So now I've got a square pattern instead of a circular one. And now I am going to use lavender. So I'm going in with a slightly lighter colour, starting to think about pushing the background away a little bit and just toning down these colours. So again, I'm pulling this stenciling through across all of the pages. It's getting quite busy, isn't it? So in this journal page video, I am going to be creating some masks of my own to use on my page, which is why I'm not particularly bothered that these backgrounds are a little bit bonkers. This is another Dina Wakley stencil. I think it's called Triangle Fence or something like that. And I'm going in here with Carnation. So a nice pastel colour, and you can see that's already toned down, but there is still a lot going on. Now, masking is such a fantastic technique. It's a great way to calm down your pages when they are a bit crackers, or if you don't kind of know where to go next. So I'm just freehand cutting out some hearts. I want different sizes, and I'm going to use these on my journal page just to create some little areas of calm. I want the bears to be the star of the show and the little pops of colour that are going to come through the masking. I'm going to mask using Night, not black, because I think Night is such a beautiful, deep purpley blue. It complements these other colours nicely and it's not as bold as the black. And with a blending tool, you can put it on quite translucent so you can still see a little bit of that background peeking through where you've done the masking. And you can see here I'm popping that across onto the other pages. So I'm going to try really hard to make the masking flow across my pages as well as make it make sense on the individual pages too. So this just takes a little bit of thinking about. Okay, so I've got all my masking done. And you can see that it works across those pages when they're like that. I now want to just bring a bit of blending of that dark colour across my pages, and I'm using another Dina stencil with these little lines on, and I'm just going to put that around the edges where the dark colour is, just so that it brings a bit of blending to those edges of the darker colour. And all the time I'm kind of flicking through the other pages just to make sure that it all makes sense. And then I've grabbed some white and I'm just going to try and lift some of that white off through a stencil. So I'm just using a cloth that I've dampened a little bit. I just want a really nice kind of ghosting effect here. I'm looking to calm down some of those areas that are still peeking out, but I kind of still want them there a little bit. So these pages have no gesso on, and you can see because the paint underneath is dry, it's working okay. It's creating a really nice subtle ghosting effect here on my page. Kind of realised I need to move a bit faster in terms of getting that lifted off quicker. It meant that I could create a better effect. So it didn't really need any gesso for this to work. But I think if you wanted to do your initial layer as ghosting, then gesso would be a great idea. And I'd probably go clear gesso for this as well. Not that it would really matter because the pages are white, but yeah, so just continuing that idea across all my pages. Now I'm going to stick the little bears in, and I want these to overlap those torn edges, so I'm going to kind of hang them over the edge a little bit. And I have added some scribble stick to the bears as well, just to give them a little bit more interest and a little bit of colour. So next I'm grabbing a white scribble stick and I'm just going to draw some like freehand loose circles on my page, going in with a bit of mark making just to break up some of that night background. Then some white splatters, another great way to break up blocks of colour. If you want to just push them away a little bit, it's going with a few splatters. Then I thought I would do a little bit of mark making into some of those circles. I'm just using a Signo Uniball in white for this. So next I'm grabbing some quotes from stencils. This is from these are from a darkroom door stencil. Previous reels on Instagram and here on Shorts, I've shared how I've collected all these kind of quotes together from supplies that I've already got. It's a really useful tool. You can just have a quick rummage through and find what you want. I'm going to stick these onto the page. They kind of, for me, I just, yeah, when I look through my quotes, I'm always like, yeah, this one, they just kind of speak to me and go, I need you to put me on this page. So I'm just adding these on, and then that is pretty much going to be this page, this set of waterfall pages finished. A really easy set of pages, actually. You don't have to do all of the layering on the background to create pages like this, but they are really fun to do. So then I'm just finishing off with a little bit of handwriting. I'm kind of doing a nice slanty style of writing, just so that there's a little bit of handwriting on there too, and then just adding some teeny tiny black hearts around my bears. And that is finished. So I hope you've enjoyed watching how I created the last few pages in my Dina Wakley watercolour journal. I'll be starting a new one very soon. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you again soon.